Good evening and welcome to Momentous Live, episode 116, your source for high quality audio inputs all around. I'm Tristan Jutra.
I'm Tasia Custodi, and down there is
Gray Williams.
I'm Will Silver, and up there is
It's me. Tristan
it's
Jutra.
you
Again.
Tristan.
We're just gonna do this for an hour. It's just back and forth.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Mario Party, but not.
And our one viewer will quickly drop to zero. So great to have the whole gang back together again. Love it. Welcome back, Will. We hope to hear about your escapades, perhaps toward the end of the show.
Yes.
But before we get into things, and we're down to zero. Perfect.
Bye, Mom.
That's fine. We'll make it up. We'll make up for it in the audio. So and the later. It's funny. We get lots of views like after the fact once it's archived. But let's just remind folks where you can find out more about Momentous. Momentous.tv/links, and you can follow the team social links at momentous.tv/team, and you can find the audio only version of this extravaganza at momentous.tv/podcast. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And let's get into a little bit of follow-up. We heard at Google I/O, was it a month or two ago? Was it in May? I don't even...
May.
Dates are so confusing nowadays, but we heard all about Android 14 and upcoming Pixel phones. It was at the 7A, which was the least surprising announcement ever, since Google tends to be leaking these things over and over again before they announce things officially. But a little bit of follow-up to that. Google's latest Pixel drop adds macro video, cinematic wallpapers, and more. So, Tasia, what's going on here with Google? Is this stuff that's going to be in Android 14, or are these features that are available to existing users of Android 13?
It depends on the feature.
Okay.
So, like there's now macro mode available for video, but that's only, at least as of right now, going to be for Pixel 7 Pro, which is like, I mean, eventually Google tends to like roll stuff out. So that's why I say like right now, that's all that's available. But then there's like some other stuff, like more kind of interactive, like cinematic wallpapers that I think are available from like the 6A and up. So, it's just with this latest like software update. So it depends on the feature.
So if you
just to create more confusion for people.
Exactly. So if you have a Google Pixel phone, go and do whatever updates are available until such point as Android 14 comes out. So you may get a foretaste of some of these features, and the remainder should be showing up with the full drop of Android 14. Another quick little bit of follow-up. We discussed in great depth the announcement of Apple's Vision Pro spatial computing platform headset. Other news that broke that day that we didn't get into for lack of time was the announcement of Apple requiring a company called Mira, which is a startup building lightweight augmented reality hardware. Now, by the looks of the photos available, this looks redonkulous, and this tends to be more of a commercial or industrial use case with heads-up displays with laughably large lenses in front of one's eyes, and with the compute power obviously in the temples on the side. But I think what this really indicates is that Apple is not done. They're not standing still. They are continuing to make strategic acquisitions to continue to build out the Apple Vision platform. The Pro is just the first salvo, and when that hits the market next spring, people will have a chance to actually give it a go, and we'll see what developers have developed for it by then. And the hope is that in subsequent years, we will see lighter versions with different feature sets or subsets for different groups of users. Now, Will, we didn't have a chance to chat about the Vision Pro with you since you were away, and we talked about some of the confusing points for us, some of the potential that we saw in this platform. From what you've had a chance to look at in the tech news over the last week or so, what are your what's your initial impression or quick take on the Vision Pro? Is it at $3,500? It's obviously out of reach for regular folks. This is a largely developer release or an early adopter release. This is a full computing platform for that price, and it's cheaper than Apple's highest end monitor by, you know, by a couple of grand there. And I've talked to some people who said like, oh, it's actually a decent price for what you're getting. And other people are going, oh, I can get most of these features for like $400 from Meta. Where do you land on what you've seen so far in this, Will?
I just want to start by saying that spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it more later, but I was in Disneyland and my phone started blowing up. I was in lineup for rides, and all I get is messages from the three of you going, "It's happening!" And like, there was at one point you said, "Oh, there's one more thing," and like I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, "Look, we're not going to go on a ride. I need to know what the one more thing is before we go on the ride." So I just like stopped my vacation waiting for the one more thing, and then I'm on Indiana Jones, and I just get the blink, 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 blink in my pocket from you guys going, "Oh, that's ridiculous! Oh, that's awesome!" So I did get the blow by blow in my phone. So I caught up with some of your reactions afterwards, but yeah, that's my experience about the launch.
Basically by proxy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea or an interesting idea. I think it's definitely got to work itself out. The price is a little bit much. We need to see this in action. But yeah, I mean, there's some really interesting things here. It's a space that definitely has room to develop and grow, and we're still trying to figure it out. So probably would be a pass from me on this go. As you say, it's almost more of a dev kit. But, you know, I'm excited to see where it goes in the future.
And that dev kit angle is what we saw from the first version of the Oculus, the Oculus Rift. And it took a number of years for it to go slightly more mainstream. And then they were bought by Meta, and they've had a couple of versions with Meta. The Meta Quest 2, the Meta Quest 3, the Meta Quest Pro. Actually, Meta Quest 3 is out this fall. So yeah, it's interesting that there's another player in this space now, along with I guess Microsoft has kind of scaled back their ambitions with HoloLens, and there's what was the other one with the weird name, whose name is escaping me now. But one of the other applications that I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Vision Pro last week was for training and development. There's been a number of articles every year in the training and development industry or learning and development industry about how one of the hot trends for L&D is AR and VR. And they keep talking about it, but it's been pretty niche so far. And it's been pretty expensive to develop these online worlds, these virtual worlds, and the objects and so forth. But now that we have Apple stepping into the fray, and there'll be more tools available, and the mainstreaming, quote unquote, of this, there's a lot of people I've been talking to in the industry who are actually kind of excited about this because it brings a familiar look and feel. Like, you know, even the home screen, it looks like, you know, your iPad kind of. And it just so happens that I spoke to my lovely wife and business partner about the Apple Vision Pro, and I said, so, you know, we discussed at a high level the training and development applications of this. Will we be considering maybe getting one of these for our business, you know, for R&D? And she's like, yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm like, yeah. So that might be happening. But the thing is,
nice.
It's only coming out in the US initially. So road trip?
I was going to
say, like we had to do for the iPhone and the iPad.
I seem to remember somebody going down and getting an iPhone back in 2007.
Yes.
No,
yes.
excuse me though. I don't want you guys just going like over the border. You have to come here, and that's in our contract.
Acquired in Arizona. I like that. That's okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Read the fine print.
That's right. Well,
it's
the
okay.
lack of humidity is better for the electronics.
It's
right?
dry heat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, you know, Seattle. I mean, nothing against Seattle, but it's
not a dry heat.
No, it's not a dry heat. So speaking of dry heat, Will, while we're with you here, you mentioned Disney, and we got a little bit of sad Disney news. Instead of a follow up, it was a follow downer, as I believe it was written in our rundown. Um,
Mhm.
Disney delays a pantheon of Marvel and Star Wars and Avatar movies. What's going on?
Well, I think a lot of this has to do with the writer's strike. There's been a lot of complaints in general about Disney special effects issues that have happened with various special effects houses, and that's delayed some properties. The pandemic delayed some things. Disney Plus's performance itself has delayed some things. So, but I think this seems to be, from what I was reading and hearing about, is that some of this is just natural consequence of the writer's strike.
So it seems like things that are already good to go, such as Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. I think it starts this weekend, and I'm pretty stoked
Yeah.
about that's still going to happen. But anything that still needs writing, has some writing component, is going to be delayed. Is that basically how it's working?
That's my understanding, yeah.
So some of the delays include Captain America: Brave New World moving from May 3rd next year to July 26th. But in the meantime, we will have the Marvels. But I haven't heard anything about Captain America: Brave New World yet. That's gonna be interesting. The Thunderbolts is going to delay filming due to the writer's strike. Blade has been pushed from September 6th, 2024 to February 25th, 2025. And Fantastic Four is moving from that February date to May 2nd, 2025. Avengers Kang Dynasty has been pushed from May 2025 to May 1st, 2026. So just so you're planning out your social calendars and your movie viewing and whatnot. And then some of the other things like 2026 for Star Wars. Some things are being pushed from 2025. And I love this line from this Verge article. The famously slippery Avatar series. See what they did there? Way of the Water.
Yeah.
It's keeping up the tradition with the third Avatar film delayed by a year to December 19th, 2025. And then the next two movies, 2029 and 2031. Just so we're clear, that's what, 7.5 years away?
I mean, on the upside, climate change is going to be so bad by then, he'll be able to film on location.
Exactly. Everywhere will be the Way of Water. All right. Well, that's a bummer. Hopefully they can get the writer's strike wrapped up sooner than later. But quite honestly, from everything I've heard, is that the studios and the production companies are in no rush to settle this, because every month that goes by, they are saving money. There was such a push for so many years to get content out in the streaming services to grab market share away from Netflix, which was the 800-pound gorilla in this space, that most of the streaming services have been losing money hand over fist. We saw Disney has implemented a number of cutbacks. And when you think about all of the money that each of us spends every month for our streaming services, it could be $50, $100, $200. A lot of people have gotten rid of cable and are just stacking up the other services. The reported figure that the production companies combined that are spending per household is $3,500. So what's like, I can see there's lots of content for you folks to catch up on. We'll let this writer's strike drag out for a while because they're scaling back a lot of productions, and that's going to impact local industry everywhere. Here in Vancouver, we've got known as Hollywood North. There's a lot of questions. A lot of things are up in the air. Various projects as some of these companies start to scale back their ambitions because the salad days are over.
Do you want today's conspiracy theory?
Sure.
They're taking the time to train up generative AI to replace the writers. That's it. Just drag it out.
And I know that's a concern on the writers' part for sure.
Like half the Disney stuff has been, paint by numbers. So
speaking of paint by numbers, we have another little bit of AI news in that there apparently is one more Beatles song that was unfinished. That there was a demo kicking around that John Lennon produced, and Paul McCartney is actually working with AI and a small team of experts, I'm sure, to extract the John Lennon vocals from said demo, and then they're going to go ahead and flesh out the rest of the tune and release it as the very last Beatles song. Now, some of us thought the very last Beatles song was going to be Free as a Bird, which came out, I can't remember how many years ago was that. Was that like 15, 20 years ago? Yeah. And that was pretty neat. But we got one more from the vault. Tasia, what are your thoughts on this? Like, if, at some point in the future, your queen, Taylor Swift, was no longer with us, but they found maybe some bedroom demos from any point in her career, but that never saw an official release, and maybe some respected production partner of hers, maybe not the one that she parted ways with a few years ago. How would you feel about this technique being applied to, use AI to extract the vocal track from a flat file, like a single track recording, and to add instrumentation to it so that the fans could enjoy a properly fleshed out version of said Taylor Swift demo? Does that sit well with you?
Well, first, I would say her estate or whoever she wanted to own it needs to be the one that owns it for me to even listen to it or entertain this idea, because hashtag Taylor's version is the only version. And also, I don't know. Part of me feels like it would be cool, but then part of me feels like you would just like miss that, like her actually putting out the content. You know what I mean? So it's like that fine line of like nostalgia. So like I think maybe right now with the Beatles, it's far enough removed that like you could be like, oh, this is nostalgic, and hey, it kind of sounds like them, or like whatever. But there might have to be some space and time there between it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Totally.
Because we would just dissect it. Like Swifties our lives would become dissecting the track and saying she would have done it like this, or imagine her changing it and singing this line like this. And,
So perhaps in the year 2066 or so, when we finally get the last Avatar movie, then we'll see, the release of the Taylor's demos, AI versions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But first, she'll fight for every artist to have rights and get paid for the use of their AI because she's a trailblazer. Y'all remember when she moved her stuff off Spotify and people thought she was nuts? She is the one that changed the streaming game for everyone. She's a queen. Anyway, continue on.
All right.
Welcome to the Taylor Swift podcast. I'm your host, Tasia Custodi, and joining me today are my fellow Swifties. I have forced them to be Swifties.
Sorry, I don't see any others here. But
No, me and Gray. Gray's a friggin' Swiftie too, okay? So
you could run into the other queen camp, and that's Beyonce.
Queen Bee.
Queen.
Sure.
So I think those two artists are probably, the two of the very few who have that kind of power in the industry to be able to make those moves, like Spotify and whatnot.
I thought you were talking about the original queen.
Well, that's... Hey, maybe there's some Lost Queen demos we can resurrect with AI.
Yeah.
See what's in Freddie's closet.
Yeah.
Bad choice of words. Anyhow. In totally unrelated news, we had over the weekend, the last few days, there's been some stuff happening with Reddit. All sorts of subreddits have been disappearing. So Reddit is, the popular social news site. It's a community of communities, so to speak. Any topic under the sun, there is a subreddit there where you can post news and share opinions on all sorts of topics. And Gray is our official Momentous Reddit correspondent here, and he's going to explain to us why all these subreddit moderators have started to shut down, or not shut down, but make their subreddits private and unavailable to non-members and the public web. And it has something to do with a little popular third-party app and some APIs.
Indeed. So here in Canada, Christian Selig is the author of an app called Apollo. And Apollo is the most popular Reddit app on the planet. It's for iOS only. Reddit is Fun is a good alternative if you're on Android. And it uses application programming interfaces, APIs, little bits of code that let the app integrate with Reddit itself. That means that you can log into your account So you can synchronize all the Reddits that you're subscribed to. Reddit kind of billing itself as the front page of the internet. Being able to personalize that is actually a really key part to the whole thing. If you can't personalize Reddit, it kind of feels a little, I don't know, distant, not you. And so essentially these apps let you log into your account, synchronize all your messages, you can post, you can receive replies. These apps have actually also integrated premium features that Reddit, if you pay for Reddit Premium, you can now use them through these third-party apps. This is good for Reddit. I've got Reddit Premium. I can award people different awards for things. If somebody does something great, I can give them an award on their post that says it's great. There are also some, this post wasn't so great awards where you're just kind of like, this stinks. But it's a way for users to interact with each other. What these apps do, though, is they do also allow you to filter out some of Reddit's advertising, which, again, if you have Reddit Premium, it doesn't matter because you don't get the ads to begin with. I have Reddit Premium, so I don't see these ads through Apollo. I do see them on the website, though, which is a weird thing that they're not supposed to happen, but they've been a little gray on that over the last little while. So what Reddit has done is they've instituted new pricing for access to their API. And so basically, the number of times that you hit this API, it charges per hit. And Apollo has gone from something affordable, I can't remember what it was, to $20 million a year. Now let that sink in. Christian is a single developer working on a single app. And quite frankly, like the number of API hits to Reddit, it's not costing them money, right? Especially for those of us who subscribe to Reddit Premium, it's making them money. But they believe that they can make more money by having access to our eyeballs through advertising and whatever other data mining that they want to do. And so they've been shutting out these third-party apps. For those of us who frequent Reddit often, who use it every day, multiple times per day, Apollo is a far better experience than the Reddit official app. I would rather use Reddit on my phone than I would use the website or use the official app, because both of those experiences are nowhere near as concise or smooth or fluid as Apollo is. So looking at this, we have some recourse, which is some of us control Reddits. I have the New Westminster subreddit. I also have a number of other ones. I have one dedicated to Future Shop. Anything that had double digits as far as Reddits that I control, I've taken private. Because essentially, if Reddit is going to say that we can't use the app of our choice, and someone's kitten agrees with me, we're not going to use Reddit at all. And so we're taking a stand. Steve Huffman, Spez, as his username, has said that, this too shall pass. No, it won't. We ran Dig into the ground when Dig did something like this. And you know what? Hell hath no fury like a nerd scorned. We're like, honestly, we'll go back to RSS. We'll go back to anything else other than taking a look at someone who's built something great, like Apollo or Reddit is Fun or any of these other apps, and blackmailing them to the point of $20 million. If this had been a negotiation, it would be fine. But they actually talked to Christian Selig and then misrepresented their interaction with him to internal staff in order to keep morale up. Right now, I mean, there have been a number of issues with Reddit along the way. Condé Nast and I can't remember who was the CEO at the time, but just another unsavory figure where it was like, okay, we will bite our tongue and we will hold our words and we'll get through it. This is the one. This is the line drawn in the sand. It reminds me of remember Star Trek First Contact, right? They assimilate worlds. The line must be drawn here, no further. This is where we are. No further. They're coming for an experience that we have defined through a developer ourselves. We're done. Say something.
So it seems a shame because after a number of waves of drama with Reddit over the years, things seem to have been reasonably stable for the last little while. And I mean, on the other side of things, you said that, it's free for Reddit. I mean, server costs aren't exactly free. I mean, Twitter has gone through the exact same thing with increasing the rates for its API calls. And, the claim from both Twitter and now Reddit is that you have these apps which are, controlling the Reddit experience for those users and sort of building off of the value of Reddit, but Reddit's not seeing that value so much, and yet they're having to pay, whether it's AWS or wherever they're doing their cloud hosting and the like, especially if there are apps. I know this was the case with Twitter, and I'm not sure if it's with Reddit, if you need Reddit Premium in order for your app to be able to filter out ads. But I know on the Twitter side of things back in the day, there were some Twitter apps, because of the nature of the Twitter API, that Twitter wasn't getting the ad impressions. So if you add up the cost side and then the lack of revenue side potential there, if any of the apps such as Apollo are screening out ads for non-premium users, and you can correct me if I'm wrong there. I mean, I kind of get what Reddit's going for here, but it sounds like it's been handled a bit fairly clumsily. And in the past, they've even done, like, they bought Alien Blue, which was another popular Reddit app. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what I'm wondering is, like, why didn't they just offer to buy out Apollo and make a lot of people much happier?
It's a great question, and this actually could be a negotiating tactic to see if they can acquire that third-party talent. I don't think so, because it seems like they're very proud of their absolute abomination that is an official app. It's just some people put anything on the fridge, right? But looking at this, there are a couple of things that they could do. They could motivate users to subscribe to Reddit Premium by saying anyone with Reddit Premium gets free API calls. That could motivate Christian to partner with Reddit and say, you can only log in if you've got Reddit Premium. It's blackmail, but it's blackmail that would keep the app running and wouldn't cost Christian to do it. And so looking at this, like, there are a number of different ways that they could have handled this. And it always surprises me when a CEO of a big tech firm says to their employees, this is going to be unpopular, to the point, don't wear your Reddit merchandise in public because you might be the focus of user ire. If that's the case, you're doing something wrong. You're in the wrong, right? It's not a matter of opinion. It's a matter of, like, the face of the public looking at you and going, you are targeting something that works for us right now. You haven't given us a justification as to why you're doing it. You have no intent of doing that. You just want to barrel on ahead with what you're doing. And it's this moment, like, the furor will pass. The furor being the frustration, and not some leader of some sort of Reich, which Spez actually is coming across right now. There's your Godwin's Law for today. We're, like, honestly, we're 20 years into this, right? Between Dig and everything else. We're used to this stuff. No, this won't pass. We'll go somewhere else. Reddit has never offered an experience from a UI perspective that has been better than anything else out there, other than a point of simplicity, right? And simplicity is very, very easy to mimic. It's basically like they've got the best cheese pizza out there, and they're saying to somebody else, no one else is going to be able to make a pizza like this. You know what? It's just dough and tomato sauce and cheese, guys. You're not doing anything special. And whether it's their vote fuzzing algorithm or whatever else it is, they're going to have a hard time keeping users if they keep going with this. And I don't feel sorry for them. There's no conversation here. There's no communication here. This has been an edict, and edicts don't go over well with this population, with this community.
And to make matters worse, all throughout this blackout, Reddit even went down. They had some sort of crash
I
going on.
wonder why.
Reported yesterday. I mean, you say that what's your theory?
Hell hath no fury like a nerd scorned.
So do you think what's a DDoS attack?
You're down with ICMP? From inside? Yeah, you know me. I like it could be any number of these things, and it really Reddit has had trouble handling traffic in the past, but like you said, the last little while it's been okay. Mm-hmm. This was honestly, it's like snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, and it's so frustrating to watch. You want to make more money? Tons of great ways to make more money, right? They're selling users avatar bits that are a little like quasi NFTs, and they're making money at that. The fact they made that work is a shocker, right? They did not have to go down this road, and it's sad they did.
So, as you alluded to a couple minutes ago, in this case, it's the community that is the value here. And we saw what happened, and it was like 15 years ago that the Dig basically had one site redesigned too many. They went from version 3 to version 4, and a lot of people are like, nope, we're out. And there's a huge mass migration over to Reddit. So it just goes to show you that nothing lasts forever. DIGG was the poster child for the social web back
They had a
in
good podcast.
Yeah, exactly, Dignation. So in the mid to late aughts, they were the hotness.
Yeah.
Now Reddit again may have overplayed its hand, and they're at risk of, if the question is there an existing competitor like there was the Reddit to the Dig? Now, is there an existing competitor to Reddit that people could simply migrate to right now? Are we looking at having to build something from whole cloth?
So no, it looks like there are a number out there. I haven't visited either of these. I saw it referenced to it in a couple of these stories. Lemmy was one. Haven't seen it. K-Bin was one. Haven't seen it. Can't recommend either because I don't know.
Yeah.
And
so that might be the difference here. If there's nothing that's got that mind share,
can I be honest?
Reddit might wait it out.
Can I be honest? I was a huge Dig person back in the day. And DCSS was one of those things as well with Dig when it came out, and they were blocking that and the use of power users that were kind of co-opting the front page for stories.
Yeah.
That was sort of the thing that drove people over to Reddit.
Just for listeners or viewers, the DCSS was the publication of the DVD decryption hash.
Yes.
And you
could print it on a T-shirt back then.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was contravening with the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and so there's subsequent controversy regarding that.
Bill Clinton actually was partially responsible for strangling Dig to death. Who knew?
It was just delayed. Just took 10 years later.
Right. But I mean, looking at this, like I hadn't really heard of Reddit at the time, and I hop, skipped, and jumped over to it because it was kind of okay. It was a dog's breakfast. Like this was something that was actually being built in real. When I got there were no such things as subreddits. Right. It was test post please ignore was the very first post that was on there. And like they didn't have comments right at the beginning. It was literally you just posted links to things. So the guts of Reddit weren't really there. And it's now like the Reddit formula is easily understood, right? The blueprint is there. Even if we did have to build it from whole cloth, they could probably build it better and faster. And literally, like would I go through and publish a link to whatever successor it is to Reddit on my subreddits? Hell yeah. Yeah, I will. So they're dark, and I have no intention of bringing them back until a resolution is found. Reddit does have the right in the terms of service to dethrone me as a mod. Assuming that I have a throne. It's really just more of a computer shop.
That's the whole adage about building your house on rented land, etc.
Right. And so I don't control those subreddits.
Yeah.
Really,
I have an idea. And Tasia might be on board with this. I'm not so sure about Will. Save us, Elon. You're our only hope.
No. Go away, Elon. No one likes you.
No one likes Reddit either. It's a match made in hell.
Visit our subtweet at twitter.com/r/t/ we'll have to workshop it.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. He's just crazy enough. He might do it.
That's
he is crazy.
I could see that as the thing, as twitter.com/t/New Westminster could be a thing.
To the internet, let's make it happen.
But
all right,
they could knock me off my perch, and they probably will. For those of us who take things private, they will probably knock us off and either put an auto mod in and open these things back up, and they're welcome to it because I'm not going to do the work for free for them anymore. So it's either private, it's them, or it's fixed. 3 ways.
This just in, the moderator of r/New Westminster has been replaced by an AI bot.
Who's to say it hasn't already?
All right. In other social media news, Tasia has some updates for us from the world of YouTube. Now, this isn't something that's affected you per se because you're already monetized, correct, Tasia?
Correct.
But YouTube is lowering the eligibility requirements for creators to make money. Can you walk us through what's going on here with the YouTube Partner Program?
They're trying to be more competitive with Twitch, I think is what's happening. There's a lot going on. But basically what this is they've just lowered like the threshold. So instead of needing things like 1,000 subscribers, you now need half. It's 500 subscribers. Instead of needing like there was so many watch hours, I think it was like 4,000. Now you need 3,000 watch hours.
Or 3 million shorts views? Are you kidding me? Holy smokes. Compared to 10 million.
Yeah, but that was 10 million.
Oof.
So they've really, really lowered like a lot of the requirements, which is great for small YouTubers to be able to start monetization. And also would have been really great when it's a complete 180 because they used to just, basically monetize anybody, essentially, back when I started.
Mhm.
And I'm ancient. And then they kicked me out and they kicked anybody out that hadn't met those requirements. So it's not like those users were making money anyway. Like, if you don't have the numbers, you're not making a ton on ad revenue anyway. Like, I wasn't even getting any payouts any month because I wasn't even hitting the threshold, but it didn't matter. They kicked me out. And so then I had to get to hit those milestones, like the 1,000 subs, the 4,000 watch hours and all that kind of stuff, and like to get back in. So I think it's nice that they did it, but lest we forget, there never used to be any minimums because it's silly. You're not making the ad revenue if you're not getting the views anyway. So anyway, that's what they're doing because people are leaving Twitch, which is a whole other long story, but there's a lot going on there, and like people are like upset with like the revenue split and stuff. So now I think YouTube's kind of like, and like seeing an opportunity to maybe gain back some market share, gain back some big gamers, perhaps some streamers.
In 30 seconds or less, can you recap for us what is going on with Twitch that may be creating this opportunity for YouTube to step in and grab some market share?
I'm not actually super familiar. I just know that they've changed some of their like payout. I don't even know if it's called ad revenue on Twitch because I'm never on Twitch. Gray might know this better, but they've changed it and like people are ticked. And then they've also kicked off or banned or something. I'm probably using the wrong terms, like some huge major streamers from the platform that they've like blacklisted. And there's a lot of people saying that they shouldn't have done that and they didn't do anything wrong. But it's like, we're all forgetting that. What we always talk about, social media is rented ground, and like YouTube can do the same thing and kick you out for no reason. So like, it's just like, you don't own any of it, So there's kind of different things happening that people are, much like Gray is saying, people are boycotting Reddit. People are doing the same now with Twitch to try to teach them a lesson, So YouTube sees an opportunity.
That's it. We're all heading to Mixer.
Whoop.
That's it.
I like mixers.
Is Mixer even still around?
No, it's not.
No.
My lifetime revenue on YouTube, $7.24.
Nice.
See?
Monetized.
We only need another 456 subscribers to become eligible, folks.
I'm 350 off, and I'm 600 watch hours off at this point. So apparently, to become a partner.
Now, one of the other monetization options that was previously only available by invitation to select creators is the shopping affiliate program. It is now available to YouTube Partner Program participants in the US with at least 20,000 subscribers. Now, Tasia, I believe you're above that threshold now. So
Not to brag, but yeah.
You're pushing 40K now, aren't you?
I'm pushing 50K.
Oh,
but
nice.
thanks.
So have you explored
But who's counting?
Right. So have you explored the YouTube shopping affiliate program?
I
Because that's something
have,
that you
because
could be
it's
eligible for.
I am eligible. It just appeared on my account
Nice.
one day, like a couple weeks ago. And I haven't done anything with it yet because I spent so much time like building like a merch shelf, which is like a whole other situation, and trying to make really shitty merchandise that's like terrible. And so I was trying to figure it out, but now you can basically, it's on the back end of YouTube. Like when you upload a video, just like you could say upload like your subtitles or like your end cards. It's just like another feature like that where you can like link to products that you talk about. So I'm going to do more research actually on it tomorrow because the next 2 videos I'm doing are all like affiliate link, like heavy tech product videos. But I just don't know if it's something where you have to have them already like existing. Like from what I saw, it was a little confusing for me because it made it seem like it was something I had to already have like existing on my channel for sale, which is like, well, that's stupid because like I'll just keep using affiliate links out to everything. You know what I mean? So like that's what I'm thinking it is, but I'll have more of an answer for you next week because I'm going to be playing with it a bit more tomorrow.
We look forward to your future videos featuring my top 5 favorite kicks from Foot Locker. Or check out these amazing RV mattresses. the list of partners is quite interesting and diverse.
Yeah, like I don't GameStop. I mean, I don't.
Your favorite. We'll get to the gaming in a sec. So I guess one of the bottom line is with this move, it's increasing, it's accessibility to YouTubers who are just starting out and providing some motivation for those who in the past may have thought, oh my goodness, I'm never going to get to 1,000 subs. I'm never going to get the view hours in, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll increase to the diversity of channels that we see on YouTube because we're making it easier for people to make a little bit of money. And that can help with the motivation there to encourage people to keep going, because it can be a long, lonely road for months, if not years, momentous, for people to start to see some revenue for this. And that can really, even if it's not a huge amount, it's something. And it keeps the dream alive. However, distant that dream might be. Like, not everyone's going to be Mr. Beast, of course, but if you're lucky, you might end up being another Tasia Custodi.
Ooh.
Who lost subscribers on her last upload, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh no.
Okay.
You shouldn't have talked about the Holocaust. Joking.
All right.
Does not reflect my employer.
Moving on, Will, you've got some of Tasia's favorite topic related links here. A few game things for us to talk about. We've got Summer Game Fest, Star Wars Outlaws, and Dread Pilots. Now, some of these I would think would normally be like picks of the week, but these are not your picks of the week. So what are these stories? Let's walk through them one by one. What is Summer Game Fest? Thursday, June 8th, which was last week, I guess.
Last week, yeah. So this is basically... E3-2 Electric Boogaloo, I think, is the
Electronics Entertainment Expo, right?
Yes, yeah.
Whatever's left of it.
It was the big conference that happened every year, and for various reasons, some of these big conferences, including E3, have become less relevant as big players like Apple or others in this space. It's Sony,
Sony, Xbox,
yeah. They've decided to do their own thing, partly because the timelines for some of these things were a little bit nutty. I think I mentioned this on a previous stream, but I have a friend who is a programmer who said they spent 3 months getting a demo ready for their game for E3 and 6 months taking out all the code afterwards that they used to make it work. So, you're basically expected to show things when they're not ready. I think this is just a little bit more of an evolution. And it's a little bit more optional. It's some more sort of third parties releasing things and different sort of types of, I guess communities or groups having their own kind of conference or own kind of stream. So for example, the company I work for, Clay, just announced their game Dread Pilots, which I think is so far tentatively planned for 2024. Seemed to go really well. I'm excited not to have to keep secrets anymore. It's new for me working for a video game company. So I didn't have a lot of direct work with this project. Obviously, I've only been there for a few months. I'm more on the web end, but definitely, helped out on some marketing aspects, or at least, giving my feedback on some things. But yeah, really proud of the people that put in a ton of work into getting these promotions ready to show the game, and it seems to have been pretty popular. So really happy with that. The other sort of highlight I picked out, and totally biased here, is Star Wars Outlaws. Looks really great, coming out of Ubisoft, same studio, Massive, that have produced some of the Tom Clancy projects over the last few years, and those seem to be pretty popular. Cool. Actually, a female protagonist, which it's not unheard of, obviously, for Star Wars, but it is kind of a bit unusual for a video game. The last few Star Wars video games have had characters like Kai Kestis. Is it Cal Kestis?
Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis, who was male. So most video game protagonists in the Star Wars universe have been male. So insert the internet saying bad things about this, but I actually think it's nice to have diversity and to change up the same brown-haired white guy that we seem to get in all video games. So
what about the blonde-haired white guys?
No, it's all brown-haired for some reason. I don't know why, but
Gray feels underrepresented.
Yeah, Gray feels underrepresented. So I'm really excited about this. The trailer looks amazing. Scoundrels, good times. I know, Gray, you probably have some thoughts on this. I'm excited for it anyways.
You're about to get to it right here in this trailer. Right there. Brown-haired white guy.
Hey.
Jaden or Jadis in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's Kyle Katarn.
Oh, Kyle Katarn. Yeah,
Kyle
from
Katarn
the old
from Dark
Jedi.
Forces.
Yeah.
So here's the funny thing.
You getting it, Tasia? Huh?
So, Tasia, this might actually be relevant for you because Kyle Katarn is the reason why I was one of the first influencers on the internet. I had one of the first Dark Forces websites back in the day. It's got to be what, 96, 97?
Wow. Okay.
I used ActiveX controls to scroll the Star Wars crawl that I'd written something custom for. And I actually ended up getting a deal through Turtle Beach and Oriole 3D to pitch their 3D sound card back before Creative Labs started stamping down on binaural audio for surround sound. So they sent me the product, and basically that was sent for free so that I would talk about it in a blog post back before blog posts were blog posts. And the star of that game was Kyle Katarn, who I'm not saying it's Kyle Katarn.
But
okay, I'm saying it's Kyle Katarn. That's absolutely
You're not
him.
saying it either.
It's like you look at the character design in Jedi Knight, and you look at that character right there. They are the same freaking character wearing the same outfit. I don't care what they're calling him in the trailer. That's Kyle, and that's awesome because this is a character from deep Star Wars lore that was killed off in Legends.
Yeah,
and he's back, baby.
Bring back the best things. That's what's happening with Legends.
Yeah.
Now, Will, do you think E3 is done and dusted? Are we ever going to see E3 like it was in the olden days? If Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft aren't going to be a part of it, isn't there enough critical mass from the other publishers to make E3 happen?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard. I mean, we have this problem with CES and some other conferences as well. It's also happening at NAMM, where it sort of feels like there's an elephant in the room that's not in the room. You know, it's like if these big players aren't there, then it feels like the things that are going to drive the industry might not be there. Now, one of the complaints that I've heard from some people involved with the video game industry is that it's sad that E3 is not, what it used to be, because that was a great way for smaller game developers or things that were kind of coming out of left field or indie game developers to get more traction or to get some attention. There are other things like PAX, East and West, and Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there are some other things, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm sad I never got to go to one. So I always wanted to go to one when it was the big behemoth that it was. So that's kind of sad, but yeah, I mean, there's still things that are going on at E3, but or the artist formerly known as E3, but it's definitely changed. And I mean, some of this also came out of the pandemic. It was kind of heading this way before the pandemic.
Final nail in the coffin there.
Final nail in the coffin, yeah.
Well, Will, as someone who has been to E3 once, I believe it was in 2011. I mean, I hate to tell you, but it was awesome. Anyway, so we'll see if it comes back.
Yeah.
Save us, Elon. You're our only hope.
No, go away, Elon. No one likes you.
All right, let's get to our momentous picks, shall we? And starting with Tasia, is this yours? Arnold?
That is mine.
Oh,
Correct.
what is Arnold?
My God, you guys, it's an awesome, I think it's a 3-part documentary series, maybe 3 or 4. I think it's 3. But I binged it
interested.
all. It's fabulous. Like, love him, hate him, whatever you think about it. It's like he discusses it all. And it goes back through his life. So each episode focuses on kind of a different part of his life, and you learn a ton. And like mostly it's just really inspiring to see where he came from and his drive and like what motivates him. And would anybody like a spoiler alert on the Stanley Cup?
Vegas.
Why not?
Your 2023 Stanley Cup champions are the Vegas Golden Knights. They beat the Panthers 9-3.
Oh, sweet baby,
Oh,
Jesus.
boy.
Vegas beat Florida in hockey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still contend
Breaking
that
news, everybody.
ice hockey shouldn't be allowed anywhere, that they can never
Hey,
have natural ice. But
hey,
Oh,
hey.
just treading
Just
on
saying.
thin ground there.
This is a very
Interesting.
Really?
touchy subject. If we want to go from a Taylor Swift podcast into a freaking Arizona Coyotes podcast and how pissed I am at Tempe that they turned down the vote for the arena, we can go there. Do you all have 3 more hours this evening? Okay? Because I can't live somewhere where there's no hockey and we all know it. I said it.
well, maybe
Said
you
it.
should come back to where you actually truly belong. Anyhow, a good companion piece to Arnold, for those who haven't seen it, might be the famous documentary Pump, which was kind of like the coming out of Arnold Schwarzenegger in quite a big way, was Pumping Iron, which I believe was like sometime in the 70s.
Yes. And they actually touch on that in this documentary. Yeah.
Now I've not seen it myself, but I think it really introduced Arnold to America, and then from there on, he was in a number of movies, including Conan the Barbarian and Terminator and
Hercules.
Hercules, yeah, that was one of his
Hercules
first
in New
ones, wasn't
York.
it? Right,
Yeah.
right.
Twins.
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 I heard
It's not a tumor.
Kindergarten Cop. Nice.
Who's your daddy?
I heard-
What does he do? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I heard a few years ago, I guess it never happened, they were supposed to do a sequel to Twins called Triplets, and in addition to Danny DeVito, I think it was supposed to be Eddie Murphy as the
Perfect.
long
that
lost
is
triplet.
funny.
But yeah, I don't think I have to look it up now with the writer's strike. I'm never going to see it.
It's a Berenstain Bears moment.
Yes, could be. It was in the parallel universe. All right, next momentous pick. Let me guess. Is this from William?
Yes.
Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. What is this?
So I went to the land of the mouse. I went to Disneyland recently, and I mean, I think I've mentioned it before. I love Disney in general, and I love the parks. They own my childhood, Disney does. So we went to LA and went to Disneyland. And I had not been on a vacation in 4 years, or at least been on a plane vacation in 4 years. So this was a really, really, really good to get away. I hate using really, but it's justified in this instance. And it was so nice to get some time away, and kind of been white knuckling it for a year. So this was nice to step away, and this was something I had really wanted to do. This ride in particular is pretty much pinnacle of technology and storytelling. I can't recommend it enough. I would say if you're interested in going on this ride, don't watch anything about it. Don't look it up. Just go. It's so good. Don't spoil it for yourself. In general, the quote unquote Star Wars land, which is called Black Spire Outpost at Disneyland, is just tremendous. If you are a Star Wars fan, you have to go. It is just amazing. So I can't recommend it, the land enough, and this ride enough.
So you mentioned this outpost, but then so how does it all relate? There's Star Wars Galaxy Edge as well. Is that like the master attraction?
Yeah. Black Spire Outpost, Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And this is one of the rides. So it includes a trackless dark ride, a walkthrough, a motion simulator, and drop ride system. So this is one of these things where you feel like you're moving around on tracks, but you're not actually going anywhere. It's just how it all moves, and it tricks your brain. Is that correct?
It's basically 4 rides in one or 3 rides in one. And the other thing is, this isn't really a spoiler because there's a couple rides that use this trackless system. So the other one is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and I'm forgetting there's a third one. Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters in Cars Land. And basically what it is there are like little GPS magnet things embedded in the ground, and it's basically told to go to certain points. So there's like a receiver in the bottom of the vehicle. So there is no track. You're just rolling around in a car and going to certain
so it actually
points.
does move. It's not just simulate. Oh,
It moves.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's the motion simulator. There is a part that it has a motion simulator involved, but the trackless ride system is basically there's nobody driving it. There's no it's basically bumper cars that are being told what to do by a computer.
Gotcha. So which of these attractions features the trolley problem? You have to pull a lever and
the funny
kill
thing
the one
is,
guy instead of killing the 5 people. Sorry.
So I'm a Disney nerd here. They recently updated, and they're a little bit sketchy on the details, but they recently updated the Indiana Jones ride a couple of months ago. One of the things they did was they were overhauling the computer system, because basically the modern rides are only as sophisticated as the version of Windows operating system that was released or popular when they were out.
No, we got to play screen of death.
Was running Windows 95 up until recently. So it becomes a problem with updating and stuff like that. And when there was a computer problem, very ironically. And so any ride that used a computer to operate was closed down. So Indiana Jones, Rise of the Resistance, and it was for most of it. But you want to go on Peter Pan, man. That's just that's just a mechanical machine. Matterhorn, no problem. But yeah, some of those rides. So I was joking. It's like someone pressed update on Windows 95. That was a big mistake. It's shut down all the computers in the park.
Attention, all guests currently in Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Could you please focus your attention on your control panel in front of you and press Control-Alt-Delete?
Yeah.
That's Control-Alt-Delete. Your attention to this matter is greatly appreciated. May the Force be with you.
Well, the other joke that I was telling my wife was that at the same time they were having a problem in Adventureland, where they, I guess a pipe burst or something, just incidentally at the exact same time. And they had to shut down part of the land, and they were drilling into the concrete. You could hear a jackhammer. I was like, whose idea was it to keep the server under concrete? Like, have to get to the hard drive.
What's this place run by Reddit? All right. That sounds like fun. So hopefully, I haven't been to Disneyland in over 10 years, so I have to check. It's all pre-Galaxy's Edge, so I'm looking forward to checking that out sometime. Gray, your momentous pick this week is a little software as a service thing in a genre that is gaining popularity recently. What is Incogni?
So Incogni is one of the many folks out there who will contact data brokers on your behalf and ask them to remove you from their system. There are a bunch of different ones out there. Aura is one, Incogni is another. These guys had a deal on, so I just grabbed the deal from them. And this is not a sponsored segment by any means, nor do we have an affiliate link. It's just a recommendation.
Yet.
If you don't go with Incogni, go with somebody.
Delete.me is another one I've heard of. Yeah.
And so I had 52 data brokers that were currently serving my information. There are currently 46, and then there are just the remainder of everybody else that we're going to deal with. I went with the monthly plan for a couple of months, and then I'm going to cancel it out. But just basically with GDPR and a few others, they have 45 to 60 days to remove you from their system. So if you look at it this way, if you get 3 months of this service, you're looking less than $40, and essentially you should be able to get yourself removed from quite a few. So I've just been seeing a massive influx of spam lately, and so I decided to do something about it. So this is me doing something about it.
So on their blog, they actually provide articles on how to do it yourself, how to remove yourself from whitepages.com, US Phone Book, and other sites. You'll see there's a number of these websites that basically scrape other sites, like ZoomInfo is another one. Now, the average user, if you've got lots of time on your hands, you could go and manually request removal from a number of these sites. So the value that services like Incogni and Delete.me and whatnot is the value that they add is doing this at a mass scale on your behalf and saving you a lot of time. Now, some people might be confused as to why you would have to sign up for a monthly plan. Isn't it one and done?
It is and it isn't. So basically, looking at this, they send the request on your behalf. These folks can come back with a number of responses. So these guys go out and handle it on your behalf. I managed to get a 60% off coupon on the monthly price. So for 3 months, I think came $21 Canadian,
Nice.
which, I mean, if I spend more than half an hour, 45 minutes on this, that's probably cost me that amount in time. And I don't want to have to be dealing with these people one by one. And so basically they say, if you get an email in, if it hasn't included their CC, you basically reply, CC them and say, these folks are handling it on my behalf. And that's that. I've had 2 of those so far, and it looks like they've both been removed in the meantime. So from a maintenance standpoint, again, anybody that wants to do it on their own, carry on my wayward son. Myself personally, I just, for the $20, it seemed like a really good value.
Excellent. Moving on from Wayward Sons to Wayward Ambulances, my momentous pick this week is a movie that I was hoping to see in the theaters last year, and I did not get a chance to while it was still there. I don't think it was there that long, but it was another Michael Bay craptacular and known as Ambulance. And it is a thrill a minute. It barely slows down ever. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and others you might not be familiar with so much, but a really strong supporting cast. And it is nuts. It's basically about a bank heist that goes wrong and a getaway, a perpetual getaway in an ambulance. This mind-boggling scenes, basically performing surgery while on the run, to a hostage cop. And, it's bank robbers with a heart of gold. They don't really want to hurt anyone. They're just there for the payday. But it is white knuckle ride. And, Michael Bay is going to Michael Bay. But it's worth checking out, especially if you've got a nice big screen, good sound system, and just turn off your brain and let it ride. Projects, Will.
Well, just before I left, I released a Level Up looper, so Level Up 19. My goal is trying to get Level Up 20 out this month, which is the 3-year anniversary since I started doing loopers. Wow. So I pushed myself to get this out before I left, and I'm pretty happy with it. People seem to like it. So so it's again, look forward to more in this space. It's on Table Beats app and Tableless.net, either their website or their app.
You can check out the classics such as Five Finger Death Punch and NFT of Yo Mama.
Nice.
Awesome. Now, Gray, your project this week, it's unfortunately I cannot get the video clip working. If you have a still or something that you're able to send to me, or you can just hold it up. Maybe you can just hold it up and I'll make you. What is that?
That's hang on. Let's do this.
Can I make you big? Here. There we go. You've got the con, Gray.
So doing some fun stuff this week. This is actually, the Momentous logo that's engraved in red plastic acrylic.
Very
cool.
Oh, you can see it better from the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. We're actually doing some cool fun stuff for Father's Day. So if you have a parental type figure in your life that you want to celebrate on Sunday, custom phone holders and custom engraving. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about with my dad's website, which is CambridgeEngravers.com, which is currently not updated to the new version. We've been working on that for a little while. It's the CambridgeEngravers.com that's there is from 2007.
Oh, wow.
Question mark?
Vintage.
Yeah. Yeah. So 16 years
We can
old,
include a
that's-
link in the show notes.
Yeah, but we're updating that. But if you're in the Vancouver area and would like a laser engraved phone stand, I don't have them with me. They're out in the kitchen. Don't worry about it. But we're doing custom logos and icons and cool things. So I have more to show on that next week. But also, I'm going to be on location out in Ontario next week to talk about my next project.
We can't wait.
Yeah.
Are you going to see my family? How dare you without me? Make sure they give you lots of food.
I heard he's going to meet Taylor Swift in person, who's going to be there with your family as well, Tasia.
I would never recover.
They're having
Okay,
dinner.
Exactly. Very brief period. Unfortunately, all the tickets from your area are all sold out. But in the meantime, you have a video for us. Yet another YouTube video to get you close to 50,000 subscribers and an affiliate store soon. What is your latest video on YouTube
took
about?
me, it's about WWDC. It's the recap. It's all the best announcements.
Worldwide
from-
Developer Conference. Mhm.
That is correct. So I cover hardware. I cover iOS 17. Obviously talk about Vision Pro. I had a lot of fun making it. However, I checked today. It's tanking. I'm getting like no views. And then I also lost 3 subscribers because of it. So am I spiraling inside? Perhaps. But she just keeps on plugging.
So you'd mentioned this before. You've been doing a number of AI videos and
Yeah.
you're doing the occasional Apple video. Your traditional fare tends to be Google centric.
Yeah.
Do you think that going into other topics, this isn't the first time you've done non-Google stuff, but do you think that is hurting you as regards the algorithm, and maybe you're not getting recommended as much? Like, how many of your views are coming from subscribers versus non-subscribers? Because that's often a sign of how much you're getting recommended to the general public. Like, what do you think's going on, Tasia?
It's a very good question because, like, 8 of my 9 last videos are all Google related. So it's like, I do other stuff sometimes, and like they don't usually tank like this.
Are the Google ones still doing okay?
They're doing okay, but like even the Google AI ones are tanking. So it's like they're just not getting recommended because most of my views are actually from non-subscribers. So, and then I have like a core base of like subs who watch like everything, but it's just really wild and I don't know. And I've decided I'm just going to keep making content that I think is helpful for people and that I like to make. And the chips will fall where they fall. Like I can't get in my head about it. So it sucks when you put so much work into stuff and nobody cares. And then someone even commented, "You should stick to Google." And I was like,
Oh,
Wow.
Ooh, shut up and dribble.
Yeah, do not come for me. No.
Oh boy.
I know. And I was like, you mean like the 70 million videos I have that are Google related that
Yikes.
you're probably not even watching?
Okay, so this is a call to action, Momenteam. Everyone out there, go to youtube.com/Tasia Custodi. Let's juice the algorithm. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to her channel and watch some videos all the way through. Hit the notification bell on the account too. Let's smash all the buttons and let's see if we can get the algorithm working back in Tasia's favor so she doesn't have to resort to doing videos on RV mattresses.
Because I will go to OnlyFans. Don't you make me.
Oh,
wait a second.
Hey now.
That
escalated quickly.
By me, I mean my feet.
OnlyFans brought to you by RV mattresses. Don't
push me, okay? She's got bills to pay.
Fair. I know the feeling.
Let's see them tiggled feeties.
Tiggled feeties.
You can also find Tasia's other work at TasiaCustodi.com. And you can find all our work at Momentous.tv/links, Momentous.tv/team, and the audio version of this, whatever this is, at Momentous.tv/podcast. But seriously, go subscribe, smash all the buttons, and let's get Tasia to 50,000 subs, and let's get us to 45 subs.
Yes.
and all the
We can
places.
do it.
Rate, review, etc., etc. All right, folks. Another one in the can. Love your work. We hope your week is truly momentous.